Hi, William. I'm reading Chapter 8 of Warrior Cat's Bluestar's Prophecy. Blue Paw woke with a jolt. The battle! She jumped to her paws and glanced around the den. The fern walls rippled and swayed in the wind as though tugged by invisible paws. Dawn had not come yet, but Leopard Paw and Patch Paw were already sitting up and washing. Snowpaw stretched in her nest, her eyes shining in the gloom. What is it? Sparrowpelt wants us in the clearing, Leopard Paw mewed. The wind roared above the camp as Blue Paw pushed her way out of the den. A grit-filled gust hit her face and made her wince. The trees around the camp strained against the angry air, and clouds swept overhead as dark and threatening as crows. Stonepelt was waiting outside the den, his fur flattened and his eyes half closed against the swirling leaves and dust. Not good weather for a battle. "Clanmates!" Pine Star's call was sharp. He stood in the center of the clearing with Goosefeather at his side, and as his warriors formed around him, lashing their tails. The fur along Adderfang's spine stood as sharp as thorns. Dappletail tore up clawfuls of earth, while Sparrowpelt and Stormtail paced the edge of the clearing, muscles rippling across their broad shoulders. Feather Whisker was moving from one cat to another, dropping small flurries of herbs at the paws of each. Those must be the strengthening herbs, Blue Paw guessed. Outside the nursery, Moonflower was sharing tongues with Poppydawn. They paused as Thistlecit and Lionkit tumbled out from the brambles, fluffing up their pelts and trying to look big. Poppydawn gave Moonflower a final lick between the ears before scooping both kits, complaining, back into the nursery. Moonflower's eyes glittered hard as amber as she crossed the clearing. With her ears flat and her pelt slicked by the wind, Blue Paw hardly recognized her mother. She straightened her back and lifted her chin, vowing to be as much like Moonflower as she could. Feather Whisker dropped a few herbs at her paws. "You look like a warrior already." Blue Paw looked at him in surprise. "Do I?" Stonepelt narrowed his eyes. "Don't forget, stay out of the fighting." Snowpaw scampered over from the apprentice's den. "Can you teach us a battle move, just in case?" Moonflower reached them. "You won't need any. You won't be fighting," she mewed firmly. Snowpaw bristled, but before she could answer, Feather Whisker pawed some herbs toward her. "Eat these," he ordered. "They'll give you strength." Blue Paw sniffed at her herbs and wrinkled her nose. "They're bitter," he warned, "but the taste won't last long." Blue Paw stuck out her tongue and lapped up the leaves as Snowpaw ate hers. She gagged when the dark, sour flavor hit the back of her throat, then closed her eyes and forced herself to swallow. "Yuck, yuck, yuck!" Snowpaw was circling frantically, flicking her tongue like an adder when Blue Paw opened her eyes. Pine Star yowled, made her halt. "Goosefeather has more news." Moonflower's eyes widened. "Another omen?" Goosefeather nodded. "I examined the bowl in the medicine clearing and found a shred of camp mint on its other flank." "Is he sure it didn't come from the floor of his den?" Stonepelt muttered under his breath. "It's not exactly spotless in there." Blue Paw looked at him curiously. Surely her mentor didn't doubt the medicine cat as well. Goosefeather went on. "Yesterday you wanted more guidance from StarClan. Now you have it. Our warriors' ancestors are telling us how we can fight WindClan's aggression. With a shred of catmint," Moonflower's eyes were round. "We must take the battle all the way into their camp," Goosefeather announced. "Their camp?" Stonepelt flattened his ears. "Do you know how dangerous that will be?" "This is StarClan's advice, not mine," Goosefeather countered. "The catmint tells me the only way to defeat WindClan is to destroy its medicine supply." Sunfall stepped forward, pelt bristling. "But that would endanger the kits and elders. Every clan depends on its medicine supply, especially with Leaf Bear approaching. If we destroy that, we are attacking innocents as well as warriors." Outrage filled his mew. Tawny Spots nodded. "What kind of warriors would we be to pull such a fox-hearted trick?" Goosefeather lifted his chin. "We'd be alive." Pine Star took a heavy step forward. "I agree that it seems harsh, but StarClan has warned us that we face destruction unless we act against WindClan's aggression before it's too late. If we act their medicine supply, they'll be weakened for moons. ThunderClan will be safe." "But what if WindClan suffers an outbreak of white cough?" Feather Whisker ventured. "How will Hearthawk treat the sick? The kits and the elders would be defenseless." Adderfang lashed his tail. "Would you sacrifice our own kits and elders to save theirs?" he demanded. "If we don't attack now, ThunderClan will be destroyed. Is it not worth risking a few WindClan lives to save all our lives?" Pine Star sighed. "Adderfang is right," he mewed. "We must follow StarClan's advice if we are to save ourselves." "So we're attacking the camp?" Stonepelt growled. "Our target is the medicine den. No kit or elder is to be harmed." Pine Star's eyes narrowed. "But their medicine supplies must be destroyed." Blue Paw shivered as another vicious gust of wind roared down the ravine and howled through the camp. Do you think the weather is a sign? She wondered. I think we've all had enough signs for one day, Moonflower muttered. She suddenly flashed her amber gaze at her kids. Promise you'll still steer clear of the fighting. There'll still be time for heroes when you're bigger and stronger and better trained. Her eyes blazed, and Blue Paw found herself nodding. Snowpaw? Snowpaw dipped her head. Okay. Blue Paw saw some of the tension leave her mother's hunched shoulders. Not allowed in the fighting, eh? Stormtail patted over and flicked Blue Paw's ears with his tail tip. Next time, perhaps. Moonflower flashed him a sharp look. This is going to be a dangerous battle, she reminded him. Blue Paw's belly turned cold. We've never attacked a clan's camp before, Moonflower went on. We'll be fighting the whole clan in a place they know and we don't. Stormtail nudged her shoulder. But we'll have the element of surprise, he mewed, and we'll be fighting at close quarters. That's what worries me. Up close, Wind Clan's nimbleness will count for nothing. Thunder Clan's strength will have the advantage. Blue Paw narrowed her eyes. That's not what you told Dappletail. Moonflower lowered her gaze. I suppose. Don't worry, Stormtail mewed. This battle will win. Thunder Clan's warriors. To me! Blue Paw's heart lurched as Pine Star yelled until his voice echoed off the trees. The Thunder Clan leader flicked his tail in the signal. Let's go! Excitement crackled like lightning as the raiding party surged toward the swaying gorse tunnel. Blue Paw felt the breeze from the rushing pelts and tried to swallow, but her mouth was too dry. Snowpaw and Moonflower headed after them. Come on, Stonepelt nudged Blue Paw forward. Wanting one last look at the clan, Blue Paw glanced backwards as she raced after Snowpaw. There was just enough light to see Thistlecate appear from the nursery, then disappear, his eyes flashing in anger as he was dragged back into the safety of the brambles. Weed Whisker sat beside Mumblefoot and Larksong like owls among the shivering branches of the fallen trees, while Patchpaw and Fuzzypelt paced the dark clearing. Tawny Spots and Windflight were climbing onto High Rock, ears pricked, pelts ruffled, and Goosefeather was disappearing into the shadows beyond the fern tunnel. Goosefeather's not coming? Blue Paw gasped, catching up with Snowpaw. I guess he needs to stay in his den preparing for any wounded cat, Snowpaw gasped. Her words sent a chill down Blue Paw. Wounded? But he told us to attack, she persisted. Shouldn't he be with them? Snowpelt growled behind her. Perhaps he got a sign from StarClan warning him to stay out of harm's way. At least we've got Feather Whisker, Moonflower called over her shoulder as they burst from the tunnel. The medicine cat apprentice followed them out with a leaf wrap in his jaw. Blue Paw wondered what herbs it contained. They must be strong because she could smell their sharp scent. Hurry, Stonepelt ran at Blue Paw's heels, pushing her pace. The rest of the patrol was already charging for the bottom of the ravine. Blue Paw felt a prickle of worry. Could she climb the steep slope in the dark with the wind howling around the rocks? She followed Snowpaw up the first tumble of stone, feeling Stonepelt pressing her behind. He wouldn't let her slip. Claws unsheathed, she clambered upward, following the stream of cats that passed like shadows over the stones. Feather Whisker's herbs were working. Her muscles felt strong, and each jump seemed to take her farther than she anticipated. Her heart was racing, but with excitement and not fear. She could sense the anticipation of her clanmates. Today, a great victory would be won. Upward she pushed, until with a final bound she leapt to the top of the ravine. Without pausing for breath, she pelted into the woods. Tree trunks blurred around her as Blue Paw ran with her clan, weaving around bushes in the pre-dawn light. The wind howled, whisking the trees as though they were no more than grass, and shaking their great branches until twigs and leaves rained down. Blue Paw could make out the white patches of Dappletail's coat ahead as it flashed among the trees. Sunfall's fur was pale and half-light, while Adderfang, Pine Star, and Stormtail blended with the shadows, visible only by their movements, like water flowing among reeds. Stream ahead, Moonflower warned. The cat slowed, bunching, before leaping the glittering water one at a time and racing away through the trees. Blue Paw tensed as her turn neared. My legs aren't long enough. She teetered at the edge while Moonflower leaped across. The silver cat landed delicately on the far side and turned to look back. It's not deep, she encouraged, her mew almost drowned by the roar of the wind. But it's wet, Blue Paw wailed. Snowpaw fidgeted beside her, her paws slipping on the muddy bank. Stonepelt nudged Blue Paw from behind. Go on, he urged. You'll make it. Blue Paw focused on the far bank and took a deep breath. Screwing up her muscles, she leaped. Snowpelt gave her a helpful shove with his muzzle, and Blue Paw stretched out her forepaws and, managing to grasp the far bank, and scrambled up beside Moonflower. Snowpaw was hunched on the other bank, eyes widening as she prepared to jump. "You can do it," Blue Paw called. "I'm coming!" Snowpaw jumped, but her graceful leap turned into a clumsy flop as her hind paws skidded on loose leaves and she splashed belly first into the stream. "Mouse dung!" Snowpaw struggled to her paws with the water rushing around her legs, then scrambled out. Blue Paw ducked as Snowpaw shook the freezing water from her pelt. "Bad luck!" Snowpelt landed lightly behind them. "Hurry!" Moonflower commanded. Their clanmates had disappeared into the forest. Only Sparrowpaw had waited. He was peering from the bushes up ahead. "I was wondered where you got to," he meowed as they caught up. He saw Snowpaw drenched pelt and shook his head. "Running will warm you up," he told her before speeding off. Blue Paw fought to catch her breath as they pelted onwards. At last she wasn't soaked to the skin. Poor Snowpaw looked like a drowned rat bounding alongside her. The cold wind was beginning to fluff up her fur, but even the running hadn't stopped the snowy white apprentice's teeth from chattering. At last they spotted their clanmates ahead. They had slowed and were trekking in single file. The trees had thinned out, and beyond them Blue Paw saw a smooth, wide path snaking through the woods, glimmering with shining shadows. The river. They caught up and tagged on to the end of the patrol. The river was huge, as wide as the ThunderClan camp, stretching endlessly in each direction. So much water, rolling and tumbling almost black as it swirled between the banks. Moonflower and Snowpaw padded a few paw steps ahead. Blue Paw stayed beside her mentor. "That's RiverClan territory," Snowpelt nodded across the water. Blue Paw sniffed and smelled a fishy stench familiar from the gathering. It clung like fog to the bushes. "That smell is their marker," Snowpelt whispered. "This bank is RiverClan territory too, though they rarely cross it when the water's this cold." "Cross it? They swim in that?" Blue Paw had heard that RiverClan cats could swim, but she couldn't imagine any cat being mouse-brained enough to try waters that churned so darkly and relentlessly through the forest. Snowpelt nodded. "Like fish." Blue Paw shivered and peered into the trees on the far bank. "Is this the only way to WindClan territory?" she breathed. "If we want to stay hidden," Snowpelt explained. "If we went through the 4 trees, we'd be spotted easily." Blue Paw's heart quickened. "What about RiverClan patrols?" She glanced at the river, expecting a cat to crawl out from the dark water at any moment. "Too early," Snowpelt sounded confident, but he didn't look at her as she wondered if he was just trying to calm her. She felt a glimmer of relief as the path veered deeper into the forest away from the water's edge, but her relief didn't last long. The trail climbed steeply, rocks jutting between bushes, trees clinging to the slope with root wound through stony soil. Before long, Blue Paw heard a roaring even more thunderous than the wind. She tensed. "What's that?" "The gorge," Snowpelt told her. The noise grew as their path seemed to take them straight toward it. "What's the gorge?" Blue Paw whispered, hardly wanting to know. "Where the river falls down from the moorland and cuts between 2 cliffs of rock. The path into WindClan territory ran beside it." "Oh, StarClan." Ahead she could see a gap in the trees where the forest floor seemed split into as though a giant claw had scraped a furrow. Blue Paw unsheathed her claws and gripped the earth with each step as Pine Star led his clanmates along a perilous trail at the edge of the gorge. Hardly daring to breathe, she peered over the cliff and saw a torrent of white water churning and boiling beneath it. She wrenched her gaze away from and focused on Moonflower's familiar pelt, following her paw steps and trying to ignore the sucking water below. At last the sheer cliffs eased into muddy banks and the river flowed smoothly, winding unhurriedly between thin trees and low, spiky bushes. The ThunderClan cats fell out of single file and bunched together, their pelts moving as one, like the shadow of a cloud passing over the land. All around them dawn washed the moor with soft yellow light. Barren, gorse, speckled hills rose in the distance. Blue Paw tasted the air. RiverClan's tang was being replaced by an earthier smell. "Is that where we're going?" Snowpelt nodded. "We've crossed into the border into WindClan territory." He flicked his tail toward a dip in the land where the billowing bushes gave way to heather as the ground rose and rolled up into the moorland. As the soft grass turned to springy, rough-coated peat, Pine Star turned and signaled with his tail, whipping it across his muzzle. Blue Paw understood that from now on they must stay silent. She smelled markers so strong that she could taste the musky, peat-tainted stench. WindClan. As they climbed the hillside, the grass streamed like water in the wind, and Blue Paw pictured again the vole's fur, flat and splayed, Her breath caught in her throat as the storm howled around them. Her clanmates seemed suddenly small and frail against the wide moorland that rolled away on every side. Ears flattened, they padded onward, disappearing and reappearing among the swaths of quivering heather. I stick out like a blossom in mud puddle, Snowpaw whispered. She was right. Her white pelt looked strange among the earthy colors of the moorland. Hush, Sparrowpelt hissed back at them, and Snowpaw flattened her ears. Boulders began to dot the hillside, jutting from the earth like rotten teeth. At the top of the rise, the wind whipped more viciously against Blue Paw's pelt, and she felt the first sharp drop of rain. Pine Star had halted and was staring into the dip ahead. Blue Paw followed his gaze toward the boulders and heather and gorse. Wind Clan's camp, Stonepelt breathed into her ears. Blue Paw blinked. Where? Pine Star was heading toward them. Feather Whisker fell in beside him and beckoned to Swift Breeze to join them. You see that rock over there? The ThunderClan leader mewed, nodding toward the stone sticking out of the earth nearly as big as High Rock. That's where you'll wait. He flicked from Blue Paw to Snowpaw. Do you understand? They both nodded. Feather Whisker and Swift Breeze will wait with you. Pine Star glanced over his shoulder. I'll send a runner if we get in trouble. Follow his orders exactly and without question. Blood roared in Blue Paw's ears, blocking the howling of the wind. This was it. The battle was about to begin. She followed Swift Breeze, her paws heavy as stones, to the boulder Pine Star had indicated. It was smooth on one end and as though it had been rubbed away by the wind, but sharp as a fox teeth at the other. Snowpaw padded alongside her. Do you think he'll send for us? Blue Paw shrugged. She wanted to help her clan, but hoped they wouldn't need help. Perhaps StarClan would give them a bloodless victory. Feather Whisker padded beside them, his jaws still clasping the bundle of herbs. He dropped them as they reached the jagged shelter of the rock. Blue Paw crouched down, relieved to be out of the battering wind. Then she remembered something. We didn't wish good luck to Moonflower. She hadn't even looked at her. Blue Paw darted from behind the rock, desperate to see her mother's amber eyes once more, to know that everything would be fine. But the cats had disappeared over the rise. Get back here, Swift Breeze. He was fierce, and Blue Paw felt a tug on her tail. I just wanted to say, Blue Paw tried to defend herself. This is battle, Swift Breeze growled. You follow orders. Blue Paw stared at her paw. Swift Breeze sighed. Her tone softened as she spoke again. It's for your own safety and for the safety of your clan. They waited wordlessly as the air grew lighter. A bird lifted from the heather and struggled against the wind. Blue Paw glanced at Snowpaw, worried by the darkness that shadowed her sister's gaze. The Wind Clan cats could be rising now, stirring from their nests, unaware of the fury about to be unleashed on them. She felt a stab of sympathy for them, but then she remembered Goosefeather's prophecy. Wind Clan must be beaten if ThunderClan was to survive. This was a battle that had to be fought. The thought roused her spirits, and she lifted her chin, remembering what she'd learned while gathering moss. She took a few swipes in the air, imagining she was fighting a Wind Clan warrior. Snowpaw broke into a purr. You look like you're gathering cobwebs. See if you could do better. Blue Paw challenged. Hush, Swift Breeze commanded, and Blue Paw sat down guilty. The tabby and white warrior was straining hard to listen above the wind. The rain fell harder, cold, and sharp as ice against Blue Paw's soft pelt. How did Wind Clan bear to live up there without the shelter of the forest? She wished she were back there now, safe beneath the canopy while the storm raged high in the treetops. A screech of warning suddenly ripped the air, and the moor seemed to explode with furious yowls and screams that rose above the wind. Blue Paw's eyes widened and shook, pulsed through her. She recognized the aggressive screech of Adderfang and the agonizing wail of Dappletail. Looking at Feather Whisker, Blue Paw saw that the menacing cat apprentice had closed his eyes and was muttering to himself. Words were trembling fast from his mouth, whispering too quietly to hear. Was he praying to StarClan? Blue Paw leaned close, straining to hear. Comfrey for bones, cowboy for bleeding, nettle for swelling, thyme for shock. He was reciting cures for battle injuries. Reality hit her like a savage gust of wind. Down there in the camp, blood was flowing. Warrior fought warrior with claws unsheathed and teeth bare. Blue Paw stared at Snowpaw. Her little mate's fur was on end, her ears stretched to hear every sound. Was that Sparrowpelt? She breathed as a furious howl carried over the wind. Another hideous screech came in reply. Blue Paw began to shake. It sounded like Stonepelt. Was he attacking or trying to defend himself? Screech after screech rent the stormy air until Blue Paw felt sick from the sound. Can't we do anything? She pleaded with Swift Breeze. We must wait, Swift Breeze answered darkly. The warrior jerked her head around as paws pounded toward them. Blue Paw spun, expecting to see a Wind Clan patrol skid around the corner. She was relieved to see, or she was ready herself to face them, hackles raised, but it was Robin Wing. Come quickly, she hissed. Leopard Paw's been wounded. And William, that is the end of chapter 8. I love you very much, and I look forward to hearing your chapter 9.